Hello, welcome back to History of Design, week 4, part 2. I went over the new assignment for the week on Sunday, and everything else is kind of the same. Building, make your InDesign, make your InDesign research, your Illustrator research, and then you're going to develop something new for a larger project again. And then in the middle, I have gone through everybody's assignments and told you what to tweak for your posters. And for the posters, it's like a work in progress week. Like, work on them. You don't spend hours on it, but you should be going back in and fixing stuff, making things better. If better is better, look at it again. You put it down. Look at your posters again. Ooh, I should probably fix this. Ooh, this doesn't look right to me. You're getting to that point where you should be noticing these things the second time you go in and be like, I don't like the way that's looking. And then you fix it. Here's the problem with that sometimes. Even I run into it. It's like, I don't like the way that's looking. But then it becomes a puzzle to solve. Like, how do I make it look the way I want it to look? And sometimes that can take a little bit. But that's what we are. We're like visual problem solvers. And the computer, we have to tell the computer what to do. It's not always that the computer can just do what we want to do. So keep that in mind. Work through it. I'm working on a side project for myself, and I ran into that, and I was like, it's so close. And I put it down. I looked at it. I'm like, all these things need to be fixed now that I stepped away for a few days. And I was like, and it really I had to sit there for like 5 minutes, be like, how am I going to fix it? Like, what are the ways that I can go through to get it to be at a professional level where it's all cleaned up? And then when I take it apart, it's not like all these weird like things on top of things on top of things. So I'm working through it too. The cleaner your designs are in the end, the better they'll look overall. And as professionals, we need to keep that in mind. But today, because I just graded yesterday and I wrote down a lot of notes, and we're going to go through these items. Not everybody's setting up the margin, right? The margin is a box with no fill. I think everybody's like keeping white in it and then putting it to the background, in which case it is no good to you if you can't see the margin on top of everything else. I'll do that very quickly. We're going to using the bleed correctly. A lot of you still not doing the bleed correctly. Let's just review that. I'm going to talk about making your own text box. This is for the people who use that thing. I don't ever use it. It's like wrap around an image with the text, but I'll talk about that more when we get to it. And then I'm going to teach you how to set the document units for good. When you open a file, it should always be in inches. I found some ways to set the hyphen for good for people who still don't understand, like, we don't want hyphens, but you can set the program to auto hyphen. I'm going to show you how to save your PDF profile setups. That way you never have to type it in again. You just go to whatever, hit click, and it will do it correctly. And then I'll talk about late replies. That's me. That's me to you guys. So let's get started. Setting up the margin correctly is only an Illustrator problem for people because InDesign does it automatically. So if I go to File, New, and I'm just going to create some willy-nilly document. Creates 8.5 by 11, which means if I create a layer, and I'm going to call it margin. If you wanted to double click and hit template right away, just hit OK. And then I want to unlock it. I want this to be 7.5 by 10. And then I'm going to, make sure it's centered. I'm going to use properties, center it. I'm going to turn on my rulers. I'm going to pull my guides. And this is what everybody's not doing. The fill, not everybody. A good amount of you should be nothing. This red line means nothing. There's going to be times you need no stroke or no fill. Understand that. I feel like nobody's understanding. Just make a white box and they're like, oh, I can't see my design. And then they put the margin at the bottom when all you need to do is make sure that there's no fill. I feel bad. Like, there's a guy named Phil. I keep saying there's no fill. But don't fill the margin. And then when it's set, you can see behind it. So like if I do, another box properly and I fill it with black, because that's a color, that margin shows up. Then what happens is that margin, because it is a template, will not show up in the final products. The other one that like 1 or 2 people are still doing is the wrong color. I'm just not making up magenta as a goofball idea. It's somewhat a printing industry standard. Some people change it, but it's usually we mark our documents. So if you guys have taken your packaging design or your exhibit design and other designs, is you mark your designs with certain colors, and it's usually pure yellow, pure cyan, pure magenta. Not like black is the outside, like black is usually for crop marks. And we do that because it's an indicator. Those are indicator colors that are just like, it's easier to say. And I think back in the day, it was easier to pull those colors from prints when they had to be done a little bit more manually. So they would be like, mark the margin in magenta, because then we can just strip magenta, that solid line, out later, and it made it easier. But there's a reason. So that is a reason why, like if you do it black or purple, like magenta pops up, like it's one of the main colors. So make sure the margin is a template and there is no fill. It should be at the top, and you should be using it to stop putting things past, like when I'm like, why is it past the margin? I'm like, oh, because your margin's on the bottom layer. And then I click on it and I go to it, I'm like, oh, and it's filled with white. Like one step, make sure it has no fill. And you can change it after the fact. It just, once it's there and you're like, I can't see through it, just grab it, click on it, and hit no fill, and you're done. Like it is that easy. It's like a 2-step process. You can do it up here, you can do it over here, and you can do it over here. One of 3 spaces to double check that the margin doesn't have a fill. Wonderful. Thank you for hearing that out, everybody who is doing that wrong. All right. Bleed. File. New. I see this happening. Oh, cancel. Cancel that. File. New. Bleed. 0.5. All right. Create. And just for it, I was going to do it. Margin. And again, I'm just doing arbitrary stuff, people, but just showing you because I see this happening. So it's 7.5. So when you're like, what document are you creating this for? None of them are, because I'm just doing example. This has nothing to do with any assignment. This is tricks and tips from the professional world of graphic design. And so I just am using an arbitrary size. So that's all good. Go to layers and I go to that hamburger and I go to template. Boom. Again, if I click on this and I have properties open and I grab that, no fill, no fill, no fill. All right, now I get my background and I see people doing this. They have like, they do a background and they do the background to here. Let's do cyan, and then stroke is nothing. Okay, so I have my background, right? But no, it's wrong. The background needs to go, no matter what, all the way to bleed, all the way to the red. It's in red, think bleed, all the way to the red. I see people who aren't pulling bleed all the way to the red. The background needs to go all the way to those red marks that we create. Again, not just for me, but in the future, when you're going to print and you don't have bleed and it comes out wrong and you get fired or you get charged more and you have to suck up the cost, you end up doing a project for free, you'll be like, now I remember why Joel kept saying about the bleed and I didn't have it and it cost me $3,000. We don't want that. Why would it cost you $3,000? Because you have to reprint an entire job for a company and it's your fault. So you have to pay for what they want. So you pull the bleed. I see this happening. People are like, I want a dark color in the background and then I'm going to put an image on top. Oh, do I have an image? I'll do this. I think I just pull that in. And then they're like, and then what they do is they bleed like their image, but not the color of the background. So then they do like, oh, this is cool. And I'm going to X this out. I'm going to paste it again. You know, I'm just saying like, that's like a background pattern. And then I want to go to properties, opacity. I want to do multiply. You know, so they do something like that because they want like this background to show through with the lighter background, but you still need to pull your background all the way, even if it's a solid color, it goes all the way to the bleed. All right. Solid colors, everything goes all the way to the bleed. Background, anything that touches this artboard edge needs to go all the way to the blade. I see people not doing that, or they do this one color background goes to the artboard and then their other background bleeds off. But no, everything, just everything. Make that background big and sloppy. And if you're working with a pattern, your pattern then actually needs to go past, and you have to calculate bleed in as part of that. That's where we get into being like super professional designers. I'm like not joking around. Like that's the thought that starts to go into it. Like, oh, but wait, I want the pattern, and for the pattern to bleed off, I have to actually make the pattern to what would it be if 9.5 by 12, so it has a proper bleed. So it's pre-thinking about your design sometimes of like, oh, I want this to bleed off. I have to calculate for the bleed. So make sure you're doing bleed correctly. Bleed goes all the way to those red marks that we created there, all right? That red mark, that's the bleed. All right, so I talked about margins. I talked about setting up the margin, using bleeds correctly. Make your own text box. All right, here's another fun one. This can be done in either program. Was it tired of me making new files? New. Oh, let's quit Illustrator and open it up again. All right, making your own text box. So some people use the image wrap, which means you have to like go in and like hit image wrap, and then you have to set the parameters. And I don't like that. So I don't like it because I feel like there's too much like then monkeying that you have to do to get it to be where you want to. And a lot of times students said like, oh, 5 pixels is, or 5 point is enough room. And it's like, no, it's not enough room between things. So if I were to like set something up, I'm going to bring in like 3 images. They're going to be huge. Oh, good. They're not huge. Oh, I shouldn't have done it. They all overlapped. 1, there we go. 2, 3. I'm going to make these small just for creative. Again, always holding shift. And then say I have this, this, and this. And then I have my text. There's my text. But then I don't even know how to do the wraparound. But you know what I just do? I just make my own text box. Because if I do my own text box, I can set my own distances. So here I'm giving everything around that a lot of room. And then look, I'm also just using the lineup items. So it took me that long to make that, right? It didn't take very long. And then I'm going to Control A, and I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to go to this, and I want area type tool, and I must have to be clicked on it first. This isn't compound. Okay, well, if it's yelling at you because it thinks it's a compound, go to Object, Clipping Mask, Compound Path. That's what? That's very strange because it is not a compound path. All right, well, then I do the other thing. Here's my other workaround. Got to keep, you know, if that, I'm not going to figure that out now. But you can take this and do the exact same thing. So I'm going to add points to it. And then I'll figure out why that didn't work. So you can change your text box however you want. And make the text box the shape you want. And you may be like, oh, the other way is easier. But the why I don't think it works out is on this side of things. One, you guys always put the text way too close to the image. We'd like to touch the images for some reason. There we go. But this allows me to just cut around it. You just add points and cut around it. These have to be perfectly straight as well. So you might want to use guides. But then I can say like, oh, I want to bring it down. I want one more line there. You know, that looks good. And then like, oh, I got to go around this. It's just I prefer to adjust the text box. It gives me more control. And I'm just, you know, adding points to Illustrator. And then see, you know, like if I have this SU and I'd be like, does it look better? Would it look better up? Well, then let's shift that up. You know, like, oh, okay, I can get it to work around there. And then there, I'm having a really nice gap around stuff. And then again, if I'm like, maybe I want that, I don't want those words there. I just bring that down and it shifts it. So I can visually double check everything. And I have to see why this won't take an area type. That's so weird. What if I draw a square? Am I hitting the wrong tool? That says area type. On a path, vertical path. Oh, I got a glitch in my system. Because that is supposed to work. I'm supposed to be able to just click on that. Oh! All right, there's the problem. Oh, man. All right, so for all of you, did everybody see what just happened there? I did do it correctly, but you need to click on the path, like not in the middle. Okay? Jeez. So that's like really finicky, but I'm glad I know that. So again, it just takes a minute. Sometimes you got to look something up. I'm clicking in the middle, but it wants you to click. As soon as I clicked on the path, it worked. So you can do this the reverse way, but you have to click on the edge. Now, is it something I do all the time? No. And what do I usually do? I usually make the text box and I just post. But if you're doing this and you know you want the text box to follow something, you can do it now in advance. And then we just figured out that it is all about clicking. Let's make this the weirdest shape we can get. Clicking on the path, not in the middle. Ready? Here we go. Boom. There you go. You can make text boxes really funky and fun. But again, I do it per the image, you know, to go around images. I don't have like, I don't just set a text box and go to that, like you click on the picture, you're like, make this a go around, because what if I need to switch out this picture and it's bigger? You know, what if I need to do something and need to switch that out? It's like, oh, well, then how is it going to react with the system here? I can just, you know, simply just be like, oh, I just take that out. And then the new one, say they wanted it like this much bigger, I just put it back and I'm just going to adjust my sizes and like do it. Again, not everything can be done by the computer, but look, this is just it's so easy to just grab those lines and do it. And look, there it is. Took me a couple minutes. So if you ever do text boxes like that, that's a different way. Is it 100% correct? No, but you know what? It's the way that I feel like that I've learned over the years, for me personally, saves a ton of time. Like just make your own text box. Again, I don't do it often enough. And I do it in that reverse way that I told you. I usually make a text box and then I like cut out a corner for an image really quickly. But remember, just that area type, you have to click on the path, not the inside, which is kind of annoying that they did that. So, all right, enough of that junk. I hope you guys are understanding all this. Now, let's set our document units for good. This needs to be done with the program open, but no documents open. You can't have anything open in the background. If there's a little arrow here, let me just open this. And you go to home. If you see an arrow here, this won't work, okay? You have to have everything closed out. It has to be just freshly opened for this to work, all right? So here's the first one. In InDesign, I'll do InDesign, and then I'll do Illustrator. So in InDesign, go to where your preferences are. Preferences are, I'm on a Mac, they're different than where they are on a PC. Just find your preferences and go to General, and then you can start looking through. And any changes you make now, because no documents are open, will happen to the base program, not to the document. Again, you can't have any documents open, else this won't work right. So then you just go down and you go through, and we were working with units. I'm just double checking some units and increments, and you can change the ruler. So horizontal, vertical, spread, like page, you know, like spread, you can just go to inches, 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 ruler unit, page, inches, inches, spline, inches, inches. Did it there. Stroke is points, that's fine. Anywhere else we want to change it? I think that's it. And every once in a while, you all should go through this and be like, I wonder what these do. And you'll find that you'll start setting some of these for your own personal work. I'm just reading through all these. You get, if you use grids, set up your grids each time. Dictionary spelling. You should check all these, hey? Why don't I have all those checked? It'll check your spelling. I'm gonna hit OK. And now when I go to File, New, or File, New, it's inches here. Web is pixels, print, inches. It's no longer picas. There you go. Illustrator, same thing. No documents open. Go to your settings, go to general, go to units, and make sure the general units is set to inches. And then from there on out, it will be every time you open a new file, it will be in inches and not pixels or picas or whatever. All right. You need to do those in the preferences before you open a document. Then every future document you open will be correct in that sort of way. All right. That's how you do it. It becomes every future document. It can't do previous documents. So everything you make after you make this changes to the base will happen from here on out. All right. So that was the setting your units. Somebody asked about that. I did the research. That way, because you know what, I'm constantly doing it, and sometimes I'm too lazy to go in. And once in a while, if there's like a super new upgrade to the programs, it resets the preferences, and so you have to kind of go back in. But they're getting better at that, and I think it's only when they do like a full brand new release that they change some of those setups. So this should be good for you for a long time for setting the document units. Now let's set the hyphen for good. This one gets a little screwy. It's easier in Illustrator than in InDesign. So again, no documents open, right? For Illustrator, no documents open. Oh wait, no, I'm gonna do InDesign first. Because Illustrator is harder. Maybe it's InDesign was easier. Okay, no documents open. I'm gonna go to Window. I'm gonna go to Type in Tables. I'm gonna go to Paragraph. And I'm gonna click off hyphenate. All right, that's it. Turn that off. And I'm gonna close it. And then I'm gonna go to InDesign. I'm gonna quit InDesign. Now I'm gonna open up InDesign. And it should have worked. I'm gonna copy and paste this thing over. So when you hear me say about hyphens, you might as well just set it for life. New document, 60-minute, create. I only want one page. I don't want to mess around. Create. Okay, create a text box. I'm going to fill it. And when I go to paragraph, please be right. Oh, I can't see down that low. Hyphenate is unchecked. Again, how do you do that? You know documents open, go to your window, go to Type Tables, go to Paragraph, make sure it's turned off here, close it all out, go back to Home, close out InDesign, and it should set it for good. All right. Now, for Illustrator, it's a little bit wonky. So I think it was, so I go to File, New. You have to create a new file. Then I'm going to do a type. Then I'm going to go to Window, Type, Paragraph Styles. And then I want, under Properties, if you go to Paragraph, make sure this is clicked off. So I already tested. Click that off. Then it should set it to the normal paragraph style, that when every time you open something new, so new file, doesn't matter, create, and I put in a text box and I put in my own stuff, hyphenate is permanently off. There it is. I'll even close it. So you have to do it with paragraph styles open. Do it once and it saves it to the paragraph styles as a permanent change to that paragraph. And now let's see if I open this again. So I'll step through that. Create. Paste. And it says, create a new text object. With the text object selected, go to the paragraph styles, find the normal styles, click on the normal to apply it to your object from the paragraph panel. Yeah, so this is now, I opened it again, new, I'm looking, hyphenate is now, like not hyphenating is now the default. You're done forever. Both programs showed you how to do it. All right, next up on the list, those darn PDFs that he makes us save every time. All right, let's do one. I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you how to set it up in both Illustrator and InDesign. So new file, just do 8.5 by 11, create, whatever. Okay. Now I'm going to go File, Export As. And it's PDF, and I'm just going to go to export. And this is for client. So it's going to be, I'm going to start new. I'm going to do a client as small as file size, optimize for fast view PDF after saving, preserve hyperlinks, short. Compression is fine, marks and bleeds, all this. Now, I'm going to go over here. Right there. I'm going to click on that button and I'm going to go client PDF for preview. What is that? It's how to make a client PDF for preview, and you hit OK. And now I'm just going to hit, well, I'll hit export and there it is, right? We got it perfect. Now I'm going to close this out. When I go to File, New, and I created my document, and I go to File, Export, Export As, blah, 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 change name, export. Look at that. It saved it, client PDF for preview. Boom. All you have to do is click that. It knows all your presets. So now I go to File, Export, Export As, Export, and now I'm going to do Press Quality, Preserve Illustrator, yep. Optimize, yep. View PDF, yep. And then I'm going to compression, none. Marks and bleeds, I want trim marks, and I want use document bleed settings. I'm going to go here. I'm going to click, and I'm going to put like PDF for print, for printer. And I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to hit export. Now I get it. It's got my bleed. It's got my crop marks. And I close that out. And I go to a new file. And I hit create. I go to file. And you're all done with your homework. You can just go to file, export as, type in the name, hit export, and then you just pick which one you want. Client for PDF preview or PDF for printer. Done. You never have to look at any of those buttons again. It's just set for the rest of third semester. For the next 12 weeks, you're working with me. Well, this class ends early, but if you're in my other third semester class, yeah. So there you go. Let's do that with InDesign as well. Same thing. New file. I'm just going to create a new file. Great. Create. File. Export. Export as a print PDF. Yep. Save. Replace. I don't know what I'm replacing. Oh, I just saw those ones. So we'll start with smallest. Oh, look. It wrapped it around. It wrapped it around. I did not even know that it would do that. Client PDF for preview. It knows all the settings. It wrapped it around. How awesome is that? I'm honestly telling you, I did not know that would happen. So that's so rad. So now it's always there. You never have to do it again. you can forget it. There's a reason why that's in there, is people work with certain printers so often, or they have these setups that need to happen so often. You just set a preset and you're done with it. That's pretty amazing stuff right there. Let's talk about this other thing, and I might dig in a little bit. I think that's all the stuff that, like, when I was going over grading, like the main things that I was like, okay, these are hitting me. I had some questions, and then I'm just seeing some items. And they're so, like, all these are so setting up the margin correctly. Just don't use white in the background. Use the bleed correctly. Everything that touches the edge of the artboard actually has to go all the way to the bleed. Make your own text boxes. It makes it easier to typeset, I think, in the end, rather than using the image avoidance, collision avoidance for text. I showed you how to set up the document units for good. It's opening things in advance. Like, don't open anything, then you adjust all your preferences. And again, I would go through and look, like, is there other things you want to set? This is where I do, like, the weird, like, I love my Japanese crop marks. I don't know where they are in InDesign. I can never remember. Like, some of these I seriously just, like, go through once a year, and I'm like, did they change anything? Do I know what any of these mean? Should I change anything that I'm doing? So you can do that for setting document units. I showed you how to set the hyphens for good. So whenever you open a document, hyphenate will not be turned on. We don't need to hyphenate. It'll save you that step. And then I showed you how to set up your PDF setups forever, that when you know it's going to a client, or when you know it's going to press, you can now impress the other instructors by knowing how to do that. One thing to talk about for me on my side that I missed, and I want to apologize for, and just let you guys know, late work. If you have late work, bug me about it, but in a nice way. I can't always get to it. Late work goes at the bottom of the pile because it's late. Sorry to say it. Like, that's what it would be in real life too. If you turned in something late, so this is my thing, but I also want to apologize to some people, is if you have, when you contact a printer to print something and they say, you're like, I need it printed by the 3rd of October. And they're like, okay, we need it by September 15th. And you can't have it done in time, you lose your October 3rd print date possibly, because they then fill it with somebody who got work in, because they're not going to reserve that print time. Life, it's too precious. And so you're like, no, but I still need it by October 3rd. And they're like, we needed the artwork by September 15th. Because you didn't turn it in and you got it to us by like 3 days late, we can't get your print job done, because the next person in line got their print job work done. And so now you've got pushed out. And then, so your print job won't be done until October 15th because you were late. And then you're like, well, that's too late. Then you got to find another printer. Then you have to pay expedite fees, which is double the printing cost usually. With that being said, I understand sometimes work is turned in late, and you understand the rubric for turning in work late. I sometimes need a little kicker. You need to, like, maybe the next day, if I haven't responded to it, be like, hey, I turned in something late. Check it when you can. Sometimes it's not me purposely not checking it. It's just, it gets pushed off. I'm like, okay, there's late work I need to do, but I first need to check on these students. I need to do these, and I need to do this, and it gets pushed off. But if you give me a little reminder and just send an email, a very nice email, and just be like, hey, I know I turned it in late, but can you check it so I can continue? It's another, just like, oh, shoot, I got to do that late work. Because as great as Blackboard is for working on things, sometimes, if you guys comment late or change something, it shows up as a notification differently. And sometimes I just don't check those right away. So please, there's a couple of people, if you turn something in late, just kindly say like, hey, I know I turned it in late. If you could check it sooner than later, that'd be great. And I'll write you back and be like, thanks for the notification. I will get to it and usually give you a time. Like, I'll be able to look at it tomorrow, and then I can make a note and do all that. So I'm just asking for that as help. So I want to help you. I want to be as attentive as I can. Again, come in, work with me. I'm always around. I met with students late at night. Like, none of this you should be on your own with. But yeah, so just review it. I'll let this one go. I'm sorry I didn't do a lot of design. I like more design tippy tips than me just saying how to do stuff over and over. Again, check your checklist. Maybe print it out. Look through this. I'm still getting stretched and squeezed images, people. Come on. Let's not do that. We don't, even a little bit. Oh, I just did a bit. Don't. Shift. Always use midweek session project reviews. That's a way to get an A, because I check it. And then if I miss something, I can't go against it, but I can be like, you know what, I missed this, but we should have changed this as well. And I write what I should have done, because sometimes I miss it. Art directors miss stuff. This is a fun one. Bauhaus and the new typography, modern movement in America. These should be really cool looking designs by everybody. Preset. If you haven't worked on these yet, set up all your presets in InDesign and Illustrator for exporting and no hyphens and everything like that. Work in progress. I have gotten to everybody who turned in their assignments on time for the posters. I made comments. I would be like, poster 1, do this, poster 2, do this. And if you have questions, comments, or concerns about what I say, just ask me. Write me back. Hey, I don't get what you mean. And I might say, like, let's meet. It's too hard to describe, or I want to show you. So that's there. Again, just work on them. And then the new project, which is we're going to do an 8-page brochure on the more modern styles of design, and find something cool to work on. This is, I have 3 to 4 hours. That's wrong. This should be like 2 to 3. You know, it's a very simple setup, and just follow the design, the student design, the student example that we have. Again, you know, beautiful, and they use InDesign. You know, like everybody think, oh, it's the same page. You know what? Like, great design, like, usually comes from like just one setup. Like, they took some time and made this bear, made an outline, and then did this, and then just took time to typeset it really nicely. Like, that's it. This didn't take all that long. And it's beautifully done. So think about that. Beautifully done. Again, any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. I hope you found this helpful. If you have other questions about stuff, please let me know. Send me emails. I don't know how to do this. This is all stuff that maybe everybody needs to know, and I want to help out. Like, if you don't know how to do it, just look it up, or ask me if you want me to describe it. If not, God, Google's great. I Googled something while I was on a meeting with a student. I'm like, I don't know. Let's Google it. I don't do that every day, especially this stuff, especially like setting the presets for the PDFs and setting the presets for like hyphens. Because once you do it, you're done kind of for life, or like done until they give like a full, like, oh, there's a brand new version of InDesign. And then you're like, oh, I hope it saved my presets. And then you go through and you double check. So like I said, that's like a once a year occurrence too. So you don't do it enough to remember, but you do it enough to know, like, I'll just have to Google it each time. So cool. Again, questions, comments, concerns, let me know what you need from me, and I am here for you. And we're week 4, which means after this week, it's 5, 6, 7, 8. We're halfway through. So keep up the good work. Keep learning those design skills. Everything we repeat in this class is repeated for a reason, is because the more you do it, the more it just becomes natural. It becomes a thing you do every time, and it looks really good. Like, it's noticeable. Your designs look more professional. Everything looks great. So just keep practicing. That's why we're here. Practice, practice, practice. All right, cool. Thank you very much. And I will see you on Sunday. All right. Or, discussion boards and whatnot. All right. Bye-bye.